Bum, 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 bum. Oh, my bad. My bad. Detroit didn't 3-1-3. We're back. Stephen Will talking that Detroit Lions football. Before we get started, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and do not forget the bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. If you haven't guessed it, Steve, tell them what we're talking.
Well, first and foremost, I don't ever want to hear, you guys are a Detroit Lions podcast. Why would you support other teams in the state of Michigan? It's an inside joke from a comment that was left in the previous episodes. But we're talking about Donovan Peoples-Jones today. I think he's an X factor. I think he's a big X factor because we didn't see him a lot last year. Very, very limited. I'm looking at 8 games played, only targeted 7 times, 5 catches, 58 yards, no touchdowns. Not knocking it because I think he's got to, adapt and get used to this offense. But how do you feel about DPJ initially?
Man, I want to. I want to. I don't want to not penalize the word is not what I want to say, but just kind of slap myself on the wrist, man, because I feel like I haven't given DPJ a chance, man, because I've been on a search through the draft to get another X receiver, and then on top of that, even after that, I was after Tyler Boyd, and now that those weren't options, I really sat back today and really dug in. It's not like I never watched this film before. I watched it a bunch of times, but knowing that I needed to understand it and I just wanted to dive into what we had. I really watched a lot of film on him today, and he's a dog, man. I think he fits the Detroit Lions too. He plays the game with a little toughness, a little chippy. He's a big physical guy. I've been the ongoing joke is I've been telling everybody that he's looking like David Boston, and he just I think he might be. I don't want to use the word better because Jared Goff and Reynolds had such a great chemistry, but I just like the combination of things he brings to the table. He can help us out in special teams. If you go back to the University of Michigan and the Cleveland Browns, he's returned some kicks, he's returned some punts, he's made some plays. His gadget playability when it comes to jet sweeps, when it comes to end arounds, man, if we can get J-Mo going one way and then him coming back the other way or vice versa. I think about third down situations and big moments to where maybe it's a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 1 where they're worried about us hammering the ball to David Montgomery, and then here he comes on a jet sweep. He has a willingness to put his head down and run you over. Which I think that if you're giving that ball to Khalif Raymond, if you're giving that ball to J-Mo, they're going to beat you with speed. They're going to beat you with elusiveness and agility. But I don't see either one of those two guys barreling their head down and running you over, which Donovan Peoples-Jones would do that. Screen plays, and he has a vertical threat ability to go up and catch a 50-50 ball. I'm just starting to like him a lot more. And I think that he could be a dark horse to have a great season because who's his quarterback's been? Shea Patterson, Baker Mayfield, and Deshaun Watson that was getting massages. Like, well, I'm just saying, man. Hey, I'm just saying, man. It's been rough sailing. So, how do you feel about DPJ? What do you think that he can do for us?
Well, I didn't have crusty bathroom towels on my bingo board tonight for the Deshaun Watson comment, along with, I don't know, was Robert Kraft in the room too? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, I don't know. I've always liked Baker Mayfield. I've always liked his game. He had a couple good years in Cleveland where they went to the AFC Championship the one year. They were like one play away from beating the Chiefs and going to a Super Bowl. Is Jared Goff an upgrade from Baker Mayfield? Absolutely. But in Cleveland, I think he had to do a little bit more. All they really had there was Odell Beckham, and DPJ was kind of expected to be like the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you come to Detroit, you don't have to be the number. I keep saying it. You don't have to be the guy in Detroit. You just have to be a guy. Just make some plays when your number's called, whether it's a jet screen or a jet sweep, a screen, a 5-yard slant. Just make a play when you're given a chance. I mean, just looking at his best season was probably 2022, so still pretty recently. I mean, we're looking at 17 games played, so he played a whole season.
1,000 yards.
96 targets, 61 catches, 839 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like, he's essentially replacing Josh Reynolds. Like, those stats, just looking at the numbers, if you put Reynolds' stats last year and DPJ stats from 2022, like, Donovan Peoples-Jones has him beat. So he can produce. So we're looking to replace that that value that we lost, I guess we could say, in Josh Reynolds. And I think Donovan's more than capable. I think he's a bigger receiver, 6'2", over 200 pounds. I can't remember what his 40 time was. It was like 4.44 something. I
I
can't remember.
believe he ran a 4.4.
Okay. So, I mean, he's got decent speed. It's not elite in the NFL. And we're talking about a kid who was one of the highest recruited kids coming into college out of the state of Michigan. A 5-star recruit, like pretty sure he won like a Gatorade Player of the Year or something for the state of Michigan as well, something like that.
I
So, I
don't
mean,
remember.
this kid can play football. He went to Michigan, very, very run heavy offense. Michigan wasn't really the Michigan that we're familiar with like the last 2 or 3 years. Like we struggled when he was there. Not any knock on him. It's just we were stuck with Shea Patterson. Not a lot of weapons. Didn't really know what we had. We were still kind of getting our legs under us at Michigan during those years. So he gets drafted, and he's played pretty well in the pros, enough to have a. I mean, what are we looking at, a 5-year going on year 6 career in the NFL? Like obviously this kid can play football.
Yeah. I think about him, man, and I think about what we're going to need him to do. And I think it's going to be, number one, to beat nickel and number 2 corners. You know what I mean? That's really essentially what he's going to be doing. The shadow is going to be on Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it could be even a better situation for him because, I mean, who are you putting your number 2 corner on, or your primary nickel? Are you putting him on JMO, or are you going to put him on DPJ? And what does the matchup look like? Because he's a big body guy. So I think he's got the opportunity to offer some mismatches. Crossing patterns are a problem. So if he's the check down on a crossing pattern, which Jared Goff likes to do, maybe we got JMO taking the roof off this thing. Maybe we got Amon-Ra running an underneath route, and then he's just the crossing pattern, the third read, the out for Jared Goff, man. So I just think that there's definitely a role for him here, like I said, with the gadget plays and stuff as well. And I think one thing that's underrated, DJ Reed is still on my mind. Ain't that crazy, DJ? Shout out to you, man. You're here. We're here. I'm thinking about you all times. I told you make the office better. But anyways, I think one of the things that's underrated is the fact that he wants to be here. I'm telling you, DJ Reed is my guy. But he wants to be here, man. He's happy to be home. I think he's about to put on for his city, man, as they say, and I'm excited for it. I think he's a dark horse to have a crazy big year for him, obviously, but I think he's a dark horse to have a crazy big year, and I think he offers more than Josh Reynolds because he can return punts, he can return kicks, he can block better. I think we might have upgraded.
Do we get to see the pose, the Paul Bunyan pose, if he scores a touchdown?
I don't know why not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I think I'll just ask you: do you think he's better than Josh Reynolds?
Yes. It's not a matter of. You got me thinking about the other day when you're saying I always give political answers, but
well, the
shoe does fit because I'm about to give one, but I don't even mean it as a political answer. It's just how I feel. I feel like Josh Reynolds and Jared Goff had a special type of chemistry, and I don't know that him and Jared Goff are going to have that type of chemistry, but I think that he blocks better. I think that he's grittier. I think that I would rather have him on a jet sweep or an end around. I think that I obviously would rather have him on special teams. So for the only thing that I'm going to prefer from Josh Reynolds is him and Jared Goff chemistry. So as long as he can get some chemistry and some rapport with Jared Goff, I absolutely would rather have Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, we're not trying to knock Josh Reynolds. I think he's a pro's pro. Like he had very good chemistry with Jared Goff, and I think that went a long way. We just saw the end of the road when it came to Josh Reynolds. Like it just kind of was what it was, and a lot of people want running him out of town, and we were defending him here. Mm-hmm. Now that he's not on the team, you know what they say: forgot all about him. Not a Detroit Lion. Not worried about you. So Donovan, let's just imagine. Let's live in a scary world. Donovan Peoples-Jones and Jameson Williams have quote unquote breakout years. William, what's our offense looking like?
We're going from top 5 in the league to top 2.
Top 2? Top 1?
Top 2. I mean, listen, San Francisco is a problem, man. I just can't just say that we're going to be number 1 automatically. But other than that, man, I'm not saying that we won't be competing for it, but I'm just not going to deem us when we haven't seen those guys break out yet. But if they do, I think that it's going to be hard not to talk about us in that conversation of being number 1, man.
No respect to Miami at all?
Who?
I mean, you
Listen,
can't mention San Francisco and then say
hey,
who.
hey, listen, all those exotic cars, man, always blow their engines.
That's true. Hey, I'll say this: our offensive line and our run game is second to nobody.
Yeah,
If you guys want to talk about faster, prettier weapons, okay, you guys can have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Odell Beckham's going to blow that team up. So I'm really not really overly worried about Miami. We'll see them in the Super Bowl, and we'll beat them by 25. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, because I mean, don't let it be cold. Don't let it be cold. They're not even going to make it to the Super Bowl if they play anywhere cold.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So we've seen that, but it's just a matter of Devon A-Chain. He has a great player. I was high on him when he came out of the draft, but always hurt. Waddle always hurt. Tyreek Hill, he's out there and he's beasting, but he's had some hamstring, calf, hip things, going on. So it's just, man, Raheem Mostert. I think if you know football, you know his story. Those exotic cars, they need new transmissions. You know what I mean? The brakes don't work right. Like
hit a couple of Michigan potholes, and now your car's just ruined. Don't even mention Tua. Like, he's been banged up. Don't let him play in Cincinnati and get knocked out again. Oh wow, here we go. I wasn't gonna go fully there.
What are we talking about right now?
It has happened. They were talking about him retiring at one point because of his head injuries, and we're not trying to joke, but take care of yourself first and foremost. But
all doubt, we don't wish any bad on players. I'm clowning guys, but
I'm just saying. Jamison Williams is due for a breakout, in my opinion, and we're going to talk about that later on. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, is someone that this Detroit Lions fan base has kind of quietly forgotten about. Yeah. I mean, because he was traded for last year, and we didn't see a whole lot of him. But he's a big kid. He can run. He can block. He can catch. He can do a lot of things in the open field. We've seen it before. Punt return, kick return, getting the ball in space. Speed and space, as Josh Gaddis would say in that Michigan offense. Absolutely. Get DPJ the ball. Get him some speed and space. Uncoverable.
Please stop saying that. I'm still emotionally scarred from that comment. My whole offense is predicated on speed and space.
Yeah, maybe if Josh Gaddis would have been banging Xavier Worthy's mom, we could have had him in the maize and blue too. So that would have been a scary thought, but it is what it is. National champions. National champions.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So
let me ask you one thing before we hop out of here. Do you believe that the Detroit Lions were making a statement in this draft by not looking for a receiver and free agency? Do you think that they are just kind of showing that they believe in Donovan Peoples-Jones, or do you just think that they're not really worried about it and they think the offense is fine and it doesn't relate to him?
You know why I hate that question?
Why?
Because I don't want to tip my hand too much and say how much I really like this Isaiah Williams kid that we got from Illinois. Yeah, this kid, just a little sneak peek. He's a yards after catch machine. Yeah, and a lot of people have called him a St. Brown clone. I'm not going that far, but I do see what people are talking about when you get him the ball and he can run those routes and he can find those soft spots and zones and he makes catches and he can run. I really like him, and he's probably going to be he's going to be my number one player to watch in training camp. I'll just say it.
I get it, but he's not playing X.
No, he's not. Two different positions, but how many receivers are we going to carry? I also don't want to get ourselves into like a Houston Texans situation where we have 14 receivers on our team and we got to cut someone who's going to go somewhere else and start.
So hot take. Let's put it out there. Let's put it on the table. Let's talk. Let's put him in a hot seat, people. Let's put him in a hot seat.
William Osborne in the hot seat. All right.
That's great. Get ready.
I'm comfortable.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
I've been ready. I stay. You know what? There's an old saying. You don't have to get ready when you stay ready. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. So just make sure you answer this question real fast. Are we cutting TK85 or keeping Isaiah? What are we doing?
He'll be TK85 will be on the practice squad. Isaiah Williams borderline makes the team, but I think ultimately he's probably practice squad if no one else picks him up. If he has a good preseason, someone will swoop him up. I will say that, but I do think they will try to put him on the practice squad. I'll be curious to see if someone else doesn't swoop in and say, hey, come to our starting 53-man roster.
You know what my grandma said to me?
I can only imagine if it's anything about 4 flats and a Cadillac. I have no clue.
That was my grandpa.
I know. If it's anything similar to that.
She said, watch out for fake friends. And TK85, this isn't your real friend. This isn't your real friend, man.
Tom Kennedy, preseason monster.
Man, this isn't your real friend, TK, man. I just got to put you on notice, man. Fair weather friend, fake friend.
I don't recall saying we wouldn't see Tom Kennedy in like week 4 if someone goes down. I don't recall saying that.
Try to clean it up if you want.
Politicians answer. I learned from the best.
Whatever.
All right, guys, little episode about Donovan Peoples-Jones. We think he's going to be due for a breakout. There's a couple guys else we want to talk about. Kind of hit it at Jameson Williams, but there's some guys on defense we're looking at too. So leave some comments down below. Hit that like button if you're new. Stick around, subscribe. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.